Hey dudes, okay, so it's finally happening. I'm finally doing the horror story, paranormal stuff. I recorded this video about 2 months ago, but it's been hell to edit this. I mean, it's been glitching out, it's been so messed up. If you're watching this, it finally worked, it's finally up. Hopefully, you guys like paranormal stuff. I know I love those things, and shit happens in my life. So, a lot of things have happened since this video was recorded. Some new information was found out, and a lot more events started happening. So, an update video should be up soon, as well as the Hollywood Haunted Tour and a few other things. So, after that long rant, let's get right into the video. Weird things have been happening at work recently, and I just thought it'd be a perfect time to get this series started. So, I work at a wax museum. Okay, how friggin' cliche, like, ooh, wax museum, how scary. I work at a wax museum and everything was chill, all my coworkers kept telling me about this ghost and this thing and whatever. And working at a wax museum, yeah, it's kind of creepy, especially when you're there like at night or like really early in the morning. But I hadn't really experienced anything besides like the random, out of the corner shadows or like little whispers that you think you hear, or. But yesterday, so I was opening, and opener has to go and get some ice from the third floor and just, prepare for the day basically. So I was up there and I'm pouring the ice into a bucket for soda, and I hear a squeaky toy behind me. And I turn, whatever. And there was nothing there. So I'm like, cool, I'm hearing shit. It's like, what was it, 9 in the morning? Probably. I go back to pouring ice, but I'm kind of sketched out, so I'm like keeping an eye towards where the sound was. And then I see a shadow with the corner of my eye going from a door to the elevator. Which is normal, not normal, but I thought it was like a manager, or coworker, or whatever. But I turned and no one was there, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I keep just pouring the ice. And then it happens again, but this time from the elevator to the door. So basically, it's like someone's walking back and forth. I turn and no one's there again. So I decide to go check it out because, again, I don't think, oh, I see a shadow, it's a ghost. No, I think someone's walking by. I go and check to see if it's a manager or a coworker or whatever, and there's no one up there with me. And I go back to pouring ice, and I see it one more time. So at this point, I'm like, okay, someone's messing around. So I just say out loud, stop messing around, stop playing around, I'm not in the mood. And right after I say that, there's a giggle, a female giggle behind me, and I'm just like, sweet. No one that works with me kind of giggles like that. They could be making a giggle like that, but the room was empty. And the elevator and the door that was right next to me are the only doors you could enter from. So, yeah, there was no one up there. But, I kind of just brushed it off and was like, cool, yeah, it's nothing, I'm just hearing shit. Whatever. Oh, I forget about it, go on with my day, leave. And today I was opening again, which is the reason I'm saying this story. I am up there again, and I'm talking to this girl that works, in the back. Or back of the house, and we're talking. She's waiting for the elevator, and then she leaves. I see her get into the elevator, hear the freaking elevator leave, and I go back to pouring ice. Always freaking ice. And then I hear a hey in a female voice like right behind me. And I thought she was back, so, you know, I look over and I'm like, hey, like, why are you back, you know? Not in a rude way, just kind of like, what? Like, did she forget something? I don't know. When I turn, there's no one there at all. So I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, that's weird. And that's when, like, I remembered what happened yesterday. And I was like, you know, me being stupid and, like, loving to mess around. I was like, hey, what's up? You know, like, talking to a ghost in my head or whatever. And when I say that, I hear another hey, like, but this time closer. And I was kind of like, okay, like, that's really weird, but, you know, still kind of trying to stay calm. This time I didn't answer. I just kind of went back and kept pouring the ice. I was almost done, by the way. I pour the ice. I hear a psst, like right behind me, and I felt it. It gave me chills. It was terrifying. I didn't turn that time because I knew there was no one in the room. I knew I was there alone, and someone just fucking called me. That was, you know, weird. So I quickly finished doing what I was doing up there, and I got the hell out. I went on with my day, and then this was around 9, 10-ish maybe, closer to 9. And then finally my breaker gets there. And I'm telling her about, you know, the situation and whatever. And she goes, it's probably Ryan. And I go, no, because, you know, it's definitely wasn't a male voice. It was a female voice. And she's like, yeah, well, he's a prankster. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, it was the type of voice that's almost like Marilyn Monroe-ish, kind of like very cute voice. If I knew who it was, if I met someone with that voice, I'd be like, oh, you have a really nice voice. But since, you know, there's fucking no one there, then it's not a nice voice. So I'm telling her, you know, and she's like, yeah, it's probably him. And I'm like, no, I'm sure it's not him. But, you know, we just went back and forth saying, like, what had happened to us and all this, which, I mean, if you want to hear more, then I could have some coworkers guest in on some of the story times, I don't know. So we're going back and forth about scary or creepy or weird stuff that has happened at the museum, and I'm like, oh yeah, like whatever. And I end up going to break. Yeah, so when we leave, like, we have to switch our tills and all that so the other person could use the till while we're away. So I leave and then I come back and we're switching out the tills again. And so I had obviously like the money set up, whatever. And there was 3 empty slots in the till, you know, without money. It was like 1 for bills and 2 for coins. And it's not like they were all like next to each other. It was like separate around the till. So when we take it off, we kind of both look at each other and start kind of nervous laughing almost, because the freaking empty ones were filled with water. It wasn't even like, oh, something spilled on it and it got wet. Because no, like the ones with money, the ones with the bills and the coins and whatever were dry. It was just the empty ones that were freaking filled with water. So we just kind of like look at each other and start kind of nervous laughing. And then we see her bag where she keeps, you know, her receipts and stuff, and it's soaked. It's like wet, it's soaking wet. So we're like, what the hell? And I'm like, did you spill something? And she's like, no, did you? And we're like, no. We look under where we had our stuff, and there was a puddle of water, like something clearly spilled. So we looked down there, you know, looking for a source, because clearly there had to be a source, right? Well, there wasn't. There was no water bottles. I mean, it could have been like a leak or something, but like, how does it get under a counter? And specifically falls into or specifically drips onto the empty slots and her bag and like all over the till except for the money. We just kind of were like, okay, that's really weird. Our manager came over and she like looked at it, and we were, all three of us were just kind of like, that's weird. We were just kind of like sketched out as to, did it have something to do with what happened to me earlier in the previous day or not. So, whatever, we kind of just left it at that. And then we were kind of stalking the store because, I was working this store for the wax museum. Anyway, so we were stalking that and we were getting some cups out. And another coworker comes over and goes, "Why is the counter all wet?" And it wasn't. I did not have water there. I mean, there's no reason for it to be wet. So what she says that, I turn, and sure enough, there's a freaking puddle under the cups, and most of the cups are turned upside down. So at this point, I'm like, oh, I don't know, and I hadn't told her what was going on, so I was just like, oh, I don't know, I guess I was a guest or something. But what was weird about this situation is that there was papers around, and there were, bags that we saw. And nothing of that was wet. It was just right under the cups. So I figured, oh, maybe my breaker, was washing them for some reason. She felt like going the extra mile. So, I'm like kind of wiping it up, flipping the cups around, making it look good. It's a retail shop. And she comes around the corner. My breaker comes around the corner, and I go, "Hey, were you washing these?" And she turned pale. She looked like she was so scared. And she comes around the counter because I was helping a guest out. And she kind of stares at it and then like whispers over to me, and she's like, "No, I don't even have water." And she thought I was messing with her, like trying to scare her. But there's no need for me to try and scare her when I'm clearly freaked out. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I didn't do this, you didn't do this, there's another puddle of water. It was just a weird thing. And I got a text from her earlier saying that the guy that came in after me, the exact same thing, like there was water on his till, but he dealt with water too. I don't know if this was just a coincidence. Maybe there's some weird leak and it's just a coincidence. Maybe I'm hearing things in the morning. Maybe there is a freaking ghost following me and my coworkers around. I don't know. But yeah, that is today's story. It's a short one. I have a lot more. And a lot of you have been requesting me to start these videos up, and I finally am getting to them. Sorry I keep getting distracted. My boyfriend's playing his friggin' wrestling game over there. That's why I keep looking that way. It's kind of really entertaining. So that's the story. I'll have more coming up. I'll keep you guys updated. I have an idea for next week. I'll probably be about the first time I ever heard something or saw something. And I'm not claiming that all these are paranormal. They're just weird coincidences that have happened. I don't know. I guess that's it. No, let me know in the comments if you think it's paranormal. Do you think it's a coincidence? Do you think it is, a spirit? Is it a demon? Is it... hopefully not a demon. Leave your thoughts, your comments, concerns, theories, whatever you want down in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that weird self-promo shit that I don't like doing. But yeah, bye, good night.